Hi everyone. Wow, it's actually weird to actually say that great in English. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So this video is all about Ireland. Lesley Roy was announced that she would be returning for the nation this year after obviously, you know, we all know what happened last year, but I just don't really want to mention it. So obviously last year she was intending to send Story of My Life, which was incredibly underrated, might I add. That was actually one of my favourites going from last year, so I'm actually looking forward to hearing this entry. So this year she's sending the song Maps, so sounds quite different from what last year it was, so I'm actually looking forward to hearing this, because yeah, okay, I'm from the UK, but my family have always had this thing when we watch the competition. Well, then again, when I say my family, I mean my sister and I. When we've watched the competition, we kind of, in a way, root for the UK in a way, only because we're from here, but we also root for Ireland as well. We've always been that thing, oh my god, okay, before we look at any other country, what's Ireland gonna send? You know, is it better than us? Okay, yeah, jumping right into it because I'm talking too much. This is my take on Maps. Oh, violins. Okay, so it actually has a simpler theme already. Okay, it's definitely got more of a richer, fuller sound this time round already in the verses. Yeah, this is such an Irish-British sound coming out of this. This is definitely more something that you'd expect from one of us at least, so I still think it's actually, from what I can hear already, it's actually sounding quite accessible. I feel like this is actually going to be pretty high. I wouldn't say pretty high, but this is going to be somewhat high in my list at the moment. I'm actually loving this music video as well. I think, again, the whole point of it being called Maps and just hearing the lyrical content in the music video, it kind of all ties in together pretty well. I am struggling to hear Lesley in this a bit, though, because just of how powerful the instrumentation is. That's probably my only criticism at the moment. Well, I'm saying it looks a pretty cold day out there. Okay, this ain't too bad. I wouldn't say it's the strongest song, but this ain't too bad overall. That is a beautiful screenshot. That absolutely looks gorgeous. I did mention a lot during that that first listen that it does have this very distinct type production that we would expect in a song from the UK and Ireland. So it does stand out, I guess, from our perspective. It's more, I feel it's maybe a little bit more accessible, but also slightly different from Story of My Life, and I really don't want to compare both of them against each other, but I feel this has definitely got a different turn. I think this is a little bit more of a current sound than maybe Story of My Life was, but at the same time it does have that sort of distinct Lesley Roy sound that we heard from last year. It's I wouldn't say it's probably the greatest song that we've heard so far in this competition, but it's nowhere near the worst either. I think it's sort of like got that sort of it's nice and I do enjoy it, there's no doubt about that, but it just doesn't give me the wow factor that I was kind of hoping for. But at the same time, it's not necessarily, again, it's not necessarily a bad song, because Ireland have had some, let's be honest, Ireland have had some bad duds during the last 10 or so years, so I think this is one of their stronger entries. So they are definitely on an upward trend, so I'm actually kind of hopeful for that, and I think that's a good starting position, because I think for Ireland at least, it's not about getting into that top 10 again, it's more about qualifying and being able to try and aim towards at least the left hand side, same as the UK, I guess. It's more about trying to get into that left hand side and then trying to get up to that top 10 and then gradually build your way back up afterwards. And I think Lesley Roy is definitely is that the catalyst there to try and start getting them back to greatness. So I do feel some strong vibes towards this. Lyrically, it's actually kind of hard to hear Lesley sing the song because the music is so loud in that video that it almost overshadows the actual song itself. I know she did perform on the Late Late Show on the day of release, so this was back on Friday, I believe. But apparently she lip synced it and sang the studio version, so I was kind of hoping that the performance may give me a bit more depth on how I could go about reviewing this song. But yeah, that didn't. Her performing the studio version, sort of lip syncing the studio version, does not help me in the slightest. I'm not worried about the vocals. It's not that I'm worried about. It's more how are they going to be able to mix this to a point where I can actually hear what she's saying more so than how much I can hear about that music. Like, I'm trying to hear the lyrics and I'm trying to focus on the lyrics, but I can't because the music is really, really loud. So that's an issue. That's something I think they need to sort out. Otherwise, yeah, I think the song's alright. It's not great, it's not bad. So in terms of its chances, I think it could qualify. But if it gets to the final, I just don't know where it's going to go from there. I guess it's almost a case where it could do alright with the public and the juries. It's not necessarily leaning towards the public and it's not necessarily leaning towards the jury either. I think it's sort of grounded right in the middle. I think it's more of a qualifier though than probably not a qualifier. But then we're only 14 songs in. I'm hoping that overall review kind of made sense, because I'm not sure if it did or not. But that, I just don't really have more to add on it, and I wished I could add more to it, but I just don't really have much else I can say on it. I think in time it'll probably go up in my ranking. It just depends on how the rest of the songs are going to come out. Put down in the comments what you think about the song. Do you think it's a step up from last year? Do you think it's a step back? And how do you think Ireland's qualification chances are this year? Anyway, feel free to drop your comments about the song in general. So yeah. Anyway, take care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next one.